Steve Lindsley. Welcome to my shop. My friend John asked me if I would make him a bowl. He had done a little bit of turning when he was in high school, I guess, and he had glued up several different species of wood into a blank and turned it into a lamp. So he asked me if I could do the same thing and have a bowl that would be similar to the lamp he turned. So he requested that we use ash, walnut, and cherry. So what I did, I got some of those woods and I glued it up into a blank. It's a rather substantial blank. It's about 12 inches wide. I already got it mounted to the screw chuck. You can see there I got the different woods glued up. So let me show you how I got to this point. So take a look. All right, we're going to glue up the blank for this bowl, which is made out of 3 different kinds of wood. We got some ash, we got some cherry, and we got some walnut. Most of the piece has been surfaced to 3/4 of an inch thick. The top and bottom piece of walnut I did leave a little bit thicker because we're going to need a tenon on the bottom piece, and then on the top piece it just gives us a little extra room to adjust the top as we see fit. So here's the bottom piece. So it's going to go walnut. We're going to put a piece of ash. We're going to put a piece of cherry, and just kind of repeat that. Put some walnut, some ash, cherry, and then the top piece of walnut. The pieces are about 12 3/4 inches square. I've already drawn if you can see it, but I've drawn a 12-inch diameter circle on the top, which is what we want. The trick always is gluing up a bunch of pieces like this. When you put the glue on, they tend to do one of these numbers. So what I did was, and it was a suggestion of one of the guys at work, Jason, my plan was to put some screws in the corners or whatever, which would have worked fine, but his suggestion is, why don't you just drill a hole in the corner and put a piece of dowel in it, which is what I did. So if I line all these up here and get the dowel in there, I have one in each corner. It's just a 3/4 inch thick with a 3/4 inch dowel. I did sand the dowel a little bit. It was a little kind of a tight fit, so I just sanded it. So then there we go. We have that in there. So if I put another one in the other side, it's going to keep everything from sliding around when I put the glue on it. Now I'm not going to be able to glue this thing up all at once, so what I'll probably do is maybe glue 3 together and then glue 1 or 2 more on top, and then 1 or 2 more on top of that till I get it all glued up. So this is what the blank's going to look like. I think it'll look kind of nice. So what we're going to do now is get set and do some glue up. All right, here's our block out of the clamps. It's going to take a flush cut saw and cut those dowels off. Probably wouldn't have to do that, but I don't want them getting in the way while we're trying to make this round tomorrow. Yeah, I'm going to leave this thing set overnight, and then I'm going to put it on the bandsaw, cut it to a circle that's a little proud of 12 inches, since that's what we want the bowl to be. So right now it's a it's a substantial block. It's a substantial block of wood. So trimming off some of the corners will lighten it up a little bit, and then hopefully it'll be balanced when it goes on the lathe. So that's how I made the blank for John's bowl. So we're going to go ahead tomorrow and cut it round, and then we'll get it on the lathe. All right, that's how I got my blank to the spot that it is now. I asked John if he would like to come down and give his hand at turning again after all these years. He thought it was a good idea, so later today he's going to come by and we're going to put this blank on the lathe and see if we can't make it into a bowl. So stay tuned and watch John and I try and turn this substantial blank into some kind of bowl. Well, John did show up later that day, so here he is getting ready to start turning on the lathe. My job was to move the camera around and offer some friendly words of advice along the way. So for the next few clips, we're just going to watch John go ahead and turn this outside of this bowl to the shape that he wants. Well, it's time for a little friendly advice. Here we're having a conversation about riding a bevel. Well, here we're doing a little kibitzing about something, but I'm not quite sure exactly what we were talking about, to tell you the truth. I guess we were just looking at the outside of the bowl and what we wanted to do to it to finish up the outside of the shape that we wanted. We finished up the outside and got it to a pleasing shape, so we have it mounted in the 4-jaw chuck, and John's going to do some hollowing here, cleaning out the inside of this bowl. I had to get a little chisel time as well, so here I'm showing John how to do a pull cut. John was ending his pass quite a bit above center. Then I realized that I had set the tool rest for the height that I like, which apparently wasn't right for John. So once I reset it to a more proper height, he was ending his passes pretty much at center after that. Well, we pretty much got this thing wrapped up. I think we'll admire our work here, and then we'll get the depth gauge and make sure we got it the depth that we want, and we'll pretty much call the turn on this bowl done. Well, the turning might be done, but there's always sanding to be taken care of. So here I'm just doing some power sanding on it. I started at 80 and worked my way up to 220 and called it good. Well, I have the bowl in the cold jaws, and yes, the blue tape on there is to give myself a false sense of security that this thing is going to stay in the cold jaws and not take off and dance around the shop. So it was actually held pretty tight in the cold jaws, so I wasn't too concerned about it. But sometime a little tape probably doesn't hurt. I would have used some packing tape, but I didn't have any. And to finish up the bottom here, I just marked the outer edge about a half an inch or so that I wanted the rim. Then I'll use a square nose scraper to take away some of the material in the middle there. I didn't show all of the finish in the bottom. It's pretty much more of the same with working with the scraper. So I just kept at it until I got it the way I wanted it, and then we were good. Well, here's a couple of photos. I wiped on some mineral spirits just to get an idea what the bowl would look like with finish on it. So I think it came out very nice. Here's the bowl all finished. I put on 8 coats of Armor Seal by General Finishes. Use a satin finish on it. Takes a while to get all the finish on. Since it's an oil finish, it takes a while for it to dry, but I think it came out very, very nice. John came by the office the other day, and we put our John Henry's and the date on the bottom of the bowl, and I passed it off to its proud owner, which I'm sure he'll display it proudly for many years to come. So it was a lot of fun, and I'm glad I had a chance to do some turning with John, and who knows, maybe he's a future wood turner.